Good afternoon, everyone, from the Big Island of Hawaii. Here I am again with Tom Kilman and Kevin Craig. We're working on the defending against being knifed. This is Blade Course 4. This is part 3. So who's got the blade here? Kevin does. Right. So Tom, you're sitting over there. So in the first two parts of this, what we've been doing is we started at penetration to penetration story. We have to get to this manipulation to out of context story. If we can't get out of contact, the only mathematical possibility left to us of the 16 combinations, the dimensional stages of action, is manipulation to out of contact. And we're talking about when we're empty-handed against the blade versus, say, for example, we have another weapon or something in the environment we can use. So we've been working here on this side, and we've been working on this first vertical zone over here, primarily here, where he's attacking with the right hand and stuff like that here. And we have a bunch of vocabulary, different things that we've done here. And we stabs, and we're here. We're kicking this way, stomping this way, and we're putting our knees in. We got the coming in here, manipulating lead arm stuff, rear arm stuff, back to here, bam, bam, here, and punch and heel palm, whatever like that, kick, whatever we have to do, and then get back to the basic sequence of divert, seize, control, and disarm all the time. Right? So we have some other vocabulary we can add in here, and then what we can do is we've started down here, but we could also start up in here. So we want to learn to work above the arms, outside the arms, inside the arms, and under the arms. So we've been outside the arm most of the time, out and then over. So now we're going to start above it to begin with here, so we can stab here, and we can work to here, and we can come around to here. And this builds, we've already done some of this vocabulary, all right? So let's just move out this way here. So what I want you to do is we're going to just go through this slow and fluid. I want you to work with the slow and fluid on about a 2 to 3 rate on the expressionometer, and what I want you to do is choose sometimes here and sometimes here. Just mix them up back and forth. Okay, your first time. Here we go. Right, let's do it again. No, make sure he goes to the ground, disarm. Right. One more time. Good. Oh, I got Kevin there. So they're warming up a little bit there. Okay, so now with that idea in mind, we want to look at one of the other possibilities here positionally. So positionally, what we're looking at is primarily is we're on the outside of this width zone here, and our left foot is forward. We're on the outside of that width zone, and now this time we're going to start with our right foot forward. Right. So why we end up there, you just never know exactly. There's something about attitude, my attitude, something about that's going on in the overall environment that's around me that put me in that situation, stuff like that. And then this stage of action adds up to this position, etc. So let's move this way just a little bit here. So now I'm over here, okay, and he's over there. Well, we got to look at some of the things that are going to go on here and stuff like that, right? The things that you already learned are just going to add up even more so, because this doesn't seem to be right offhand as advantageous as this way, right? And so we need to kind of explore a little bit here. So when I'm here, right now, if I look at the 9 possibilities here, my points of reference, point for whip, right? Point for thrust, point for hammer. Hammer doesn't seem like real high on my list because it wants to go that way. He's over here. And hammer over here, all of a sudden, is looking a lot better. Could be down here. So the top 4 are going to be 1 position right here, a 2nd position right here, a 3rd position right here, and a 4th one right here. That would be probably the top 4 that I would be using here. And 7, 8, 9 is something up in here, right? Okay. And then, of course, this hand over here, right, going over this way, doesn't seem to have it. I'm going to go the shooter leans over here, and he's over here. So here we are again. He stabs here, right? So now I'm going to move this way here. And so what I've got to do is change this position. You see, now I could work this way here, go, and just do a divert of some sort. And if I was going to run and stuff like that, if I felt that's what I was trying to do was run to something right over there, that might want to be one of the ways I'd handle it. I would just get over here and just divert this thing here, and I probably wouldn't put my arm down there like that. I'm just going to use my elbow. You can see I did it this time here. I just give myself margin right here and not exposing myself in here for my timing and stuff like that, right? And if I move that way, but we're going to say we have to get back to the manipulation stage. And so when he does that, there's no way I can move this way and manipulate him. So what I have to do is I have to rotate here. So I can't just rotate. What I have to do is now I'm going to fall in the direction of my weakest base of support because this is the quickest way of moving, this way here. So I fall this way because it's faster, but also it gets me out of the line of attack. So I don't want to just pivot, see? I just expose my width zones in the line of attack of his blade. So what I have to do is fall that way and then pivot and come back this way. So we've been doing zigzags in some of our techniques like this. We do zigzag to go around behind him or whatever like that. And that's really what you're doing, but you have the other leg forward. So I'm right here. So what I want you to do for now, just leave this right hand to point for hammer, other hand, whip and point for hammer, and don't move your arms. So when he stabs, just do this idea and come back this way a few times. Just try it, Tom. So fall and rotate. There you go. Do it again. Good. Your turn, Tom or Kevin. Point for whip. Other foot's forward now. There you go. And again. So this hand should be further back. If this is your lead arm, right? There you go. And again. So you guys are, now remember they're right eye dominant, I'm left eye dominant. So as right eye dominant people, you're going to fall this way and he stabs, and you're going to be able to see this right there very easily, see here. Right to here. So you're going to fall this way, keep your eye on here, and don't go too far this way. Right? So you guys want to be able to see that you move to here and he's on this side of you. Everything's over here. So when you step out this way to defend, they should still see everything over here. While a left eye dominant person like myself, see, I'm going to come around this way a lot more so that I see him this way. Then when I step in on this, I'm going to cut him across this way here. Got it? So your turn again. Go. There you go. Again. Your turn, Tom. No hands yet. There you go. Just dominant leads and the rest will follow. That's just want to work here, right? Do it again, Tom. You went too far. Yeah, because you got to be able to see him. Yeah, and again. So this is a good example of this idea how being neutral is the balance between mobility and stability. So if we move over this way just a little bit, the deeper I drop this here and solidify my base to the earth and lowering my center of gravity, the less mobility I have. And now when he stabs, and I want to come back that way, it's so hard to do at all. I mean, the best thing I could do would be to die that way and forward roll, so to speak. Right? That would be from here because I have this base going here. Because anything trying to go back this way, versus and I'm exaggerated. You see, I'm exaggerating. But even if I bring it back up to the proper depth of a neutral fighting position, that's too deep. I got to shallow that up. Now I got mobility. So now when he stabs here, you can see how easy I can move here. And so you have to kind of do what it's not. All right, so your first Tom, nice deeper depth, greater depth. More, I want you to exaggerate it. More. There you go. Now stab and move. And Tom didn't feel really good about that. On top of that, all right. One more time. Go. Good. And now shallow up a little bit less. It still feels a little awkward, so now he's got to find what he believes is the right depth here for mobility. There you go. And again, one more time. Did your turn, Kevin? Deeper, real big deep. There you go. Now stab. There you go. It has the uneasy feeling, doesn't it? Don't move. This hand's back here. There you go. Now shallow it up a little bit better. Always helps to know what things are not. So now you choose exactly what you believe to be the ideal balance between mobility and stability here. There you go. Good. So I'm back here with Tom's got the attack here. Right? And so we're here. And I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong side here. Here. So here, I'm going to go off to this angle, falling this way, and then rotate back this way, and I'm going to use the same principles we used before. I've got the forearm here on the bladed side for margin for error. If he cuts, he slices this way on bone and muscle versus arteries and stuff like that. I want to hit with the wedge to create the divert part here, making sure that my gripping hand is free. The rest of my hands are free to seize is free. So I'm back to here, and I'm right over to here like this. This hand's at the point for hammer here. Then it comes around and down, and you'll be using my forearm here. and then back into gripping here, and it can go right back over to here. Okay? You can see it takes a little bit more skill to do this, right? So pretty obvious. Back up, Tom. Back up. That this is lower on the decision tree. If I can square off with this guy's got a blade here, that this is higher on my decision tree, and this is lower on the tree. So this would be the number 1 position here, and this would be the number 2 position, right? Because I've only got 2 positions so far. But clearly, it takes a little more skill. So now he stabs, and I'm right here. If I start at the point for hammer, you can be sure that I'm probably going to use my forearm on this move here, right? Versus my heel palm. Now, if I start down here and move here, what I'll probably end up doing is, because of the way this is moving in depth, it won't be like the other ones with the heel palm. This would be under with a thrust grab to lift with the bicep or something like that to dislocate his elbow from underneath. Does it make sense? All right, so let's try it with the forearm first. Kevin's first. Oh, hand right there. Yeah. Hands up. Go. There you go. Do it again. There you go. And again. And your turn, Tom. Next. Next. You got to stay over here, Tom. Over here. I'm sorry. We'll do it. They can't see what you're doing there on the camera there. Okay. You grabbed at it. Got to strike it first. Divert. There you go. Nice. Good. Nice job. And again. And Kevin's turn again. So now go ahead and follow up with all your vocabulary, whatever comes to your mind there, right? Make sure that he goes to the ground. Your turn, Tom. Good job. You went down. All right. So, you okay? All right, so we're back to here. So now they did that fairly well. So we're going to go right on to the next challenge here. So we're back to here. Now we're going to start with the other hand here, the supporting down at the side here. So when I'm here and he comes around, I'm going to go right here. I have to work underneath. I never get that. I could consider shooting up here, thrusting inward, but I think you're going to find, because I'm doing this with Tom. He's taller than me. I'm going to be underneath. All right, so we're back to here. And you can try. You can still. It doesn't mean that you can't practice doing it this way, guys. All right. But what you're not going to use is your heel palm. That's what I want to get across. So if I start to use the heel palm, this goes past and thrust grab to lift with the bicep. Otherwise, we're just doing the same thing we did before. We're just using the forearm, which is perfectly fine. I want you to try it that way too. I didn't mean to say not do that, all right? But I want you to explore the other vocabulary possibilities here of going underneath this time. So when I get right to here, now I lock that elbow against my body again here. Then the heel palm of the groin rolls him back down, and back to this stuff again here. Okay, let's try it, Kevin. Underneath, heel palm. There you go. Watch the angles of the blade. Your turn, Tom. This one's down? Yep. Stop. Do it again. Do it again. Good over on this side, Tom. Kevin, you're over here. Underneath, heel palm. Groin shot. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That'll be a lot easier to mid-play them at that point. Very good. All right, give it back over to Kevin here. Are you over there? Either one of you. So if you thrust with the forearm and you're here, use the forearm. It's the same thing. Now you can shoot that in there and come back. And back over to here. And all the stuff we've done before. Bam, bam, whap, here. Okay? Underneath again. Here, whap, right to there. You can see this is the most easily recognizable moment is something in the groin area because he pops up and throws it forward. And it flows right back into here somewhere like that. If I have it, because he lets go. Well, the groin shot, hopefully will make him let go, but he may not let go, then I'll just stay with it, right? Let me point out something historically here. I had an opportunity to work with a guy who was a very, very good teacher of self-defense with using guns and defending against guns. And one day when I was talking to him, he said, but I don't teach self-defense against a knife. He says, I don't believe anybody really can defend himself against a knife. Well, I really had to challenge him on that because I just thought it was so incorrect. Here's what he was thinking. And when I finally realized what he was saying was, when people go against guns, we're going to say this is a turn around here. Say this guy's got a gun here, right? You work against the guy's gun, and you take the gun away, and you do all this stuff like that, right? What he was thinking in his mind is that when you go against the blade, the reason you can't defend against the blade like you can a gun is it's too difficult to take the knife away. He was equating defense against the blade with taking the knife away from him. And I explained to him, I said, no, it's okay if the knife just falls on the ground. Oh, but he could get it again. He could get it again. I thought, what? I just took the blade away from him. He's not knifing anymore, right? So his problem with self-defense against the knife was he thought he had to take the knife away from him. You can see this in these techniques. They're not built this way, right? They're not built this way at all. I mean, all this extemporaneous stuff in the back in here, when he comes in here, bam, disarm. It fell to the ground. Oh, no, he's able to hang on to it. Bam, disarm. He's able to hang on it one more time. Bam, pop, bam, disarm. Right? Get the idea? So this is a series of moves. It's divert, seize, control, disarm. Disarm is not the same thing as taking the gun away. So taking a gun away from a guy would be a type of disarm, right? That is, if I take it away from him and I have it in my possession, that's a type of disarm. But not all disarms require that I have to end up with the weapon in my hand. Make sense? So we could do it. So just keep that in mind. Your goal here to start with is a lot easier to have this knife drop to the ground than to try to actually take it away from him and put it back in your own possession. So back to here, shoot it here, cut his leg, come around. Now I might be able to take it away from him if I had to try to do something like that. But I wouldn't even probably try it. That's what he was really kind of get across, and it's just the fact that there's this margin for error. He's got the handle covered with his hand. So what am I grabbing, his hand or the blade? That's the problem, and I don't want to be doing that. So this kind of move I showed you on purpose, I wouldn't normally do that, right? What I'm looking at is that if I did this, here and I got to here, and I did this and here, I'm hoping he drops it right there. If he hasn't dropped it right here, I'm just going to come back around to here and make him dislocate here this way here rather than trying to take the blade away from him, right? Which we can do eventually and stuff like that, but it's once you've totally controlled the cycle. But it's still pretty dynamic at this point. All right, so the next part of this lesson here is what I want you to do this time when you come up here is start out of contact a little further out, make it a personal choice each time you step into the story here to have this foot forward or this foot forward. We're going to work with him on this side of us here. We're going to line up this first zone, vertical zone, a width zone over here. And you can choose any of the combinations of points of reference for hammer thrusts whips you want. Knowing that it's fairly extemporaneous here, what we're going on and stuff like that, right? You're going to probably stay closer to the higher to the decision tree. Right? So you're first, Tom. You're over here, Tom.
Number?
He was asking about the number, meaning the expressionometer. So we want to start at about a 3. Okay, Tom's the challenge-oriented person here. Move that way now, guys, a little bit. Okay. And again, Tom. So Tom does end up with the blade after the guy lets it go on the ground, and the guy's still controlled on the ground, right? Because he still has him locked. Then he can pick up the loose blade. Oh, the guy dropped the blade on the first move. I can't believe it. Oh, the guy. That's Kevin. Kevin the guy. One more time. Do it again, Tom. Do it again.
Sir.
No, you missed it. You're missing it. Do you know what you've been doing? Stepping in on the first move.
That was it. Thank you.
Which is why you can't control. You got to shorten the circle against this blade. There you go. Your turn, Kevin. Good example why you want to have those small circles, lock the joint at the wrist before you manipulate, because you can see you fell out of balance right there. You could have easily fallen in there with the blade pointed up. If the blade was pointed up, killed yourself, right? But in this case, the blade was always pointed away from you. That was good. Again. So I don't know where you guys got that. Both of you did that stuff. Where that came from all of a sudden. You got the guy here at the end and knocking the blade away and stuff like that, right? Did I teach you that? No. Did I teach you that? No. No, I didn't teach you guys. I wouldn't do that because it's just the march of error itself. It's like trying to grab it. Just disarm it. Let it fall out of its hand, wherever it is, right? I wouldn't try to knock it out any further and stuff like that. Okay, especially in case you want to be able to use it. Right now, you're over here. So what I want you to do is, no, I'm doing the technique this time. What I want you to do this time, whether you have the right foot forward or the left foot forward, is it's so difficult to go against this blade. Remember, because of the attitude of the blade. He's got the edge here on attitude, environment, stages of action. You see stuff like that. I have to get back up higher on that. So I got to be, remember, in self-defense, whether it's against his grab or push or punch, I got to be the first to control attitude, the first to control the environment, the first to control the stages of action, and first to control positions. So what you have to do here is to take control of this. I got to be ahead of him in the first half of the cycle. I can't get to here and then he stabs and I'm reacting to it. He's ahead on the first four things in the cycle. Oh, can you go around the laptop?
What's that?
It's okay. Never mind. It's okay.
What do you need? I can't hear you.
Okay. The gentleman just couldn't hear us. So my point is that I've got to get ahead of him on the cycle considerations. So action is faster than reaction. So what I have to do is I have to act on the first four things in the cycle and get him to react. So instead of me standing here like this now and he stabs, see how I'm reacting, right? Back up just this way. Now I'm going to move in and I'm acting so that he stabs, but he stabbed to see when I wanted him to. I've got to be the one moving in here, you see? And I'm getting him to react to me, which means I'm in a level of awareness, right? I have no chance against the blade, none, if I go from a state of unawareness to a state, try to get to a state of awareness, all right? None, right? So I have to be aware. So I know that he has this, and something in the story says that I have to go from here, or I have to do something, right? And so he's going to stab when he wants to, but his want to has to be the moment I want him to. And no matter what positions I do this, right? So I have to give him something that says it's time to stab. And again, that was the moment that. Okay? I've got to be in charge of that. And those two biggest things are going to be, some of those things are going to be is attitude to start with, right? Attitude is the arrangement of my body. So I give him something about my attitude. I just gave him a little attitude, and he said, you stupid you, because, this is going to work against his, I'm exaggerating it, this is not going to work against the blade. So I give him a little attitude. In this case, there's nothing particular about the environment here, but the stages of action, I'm aware of where I'm at, right? And positionally, maybe sometimes I turn my body just a little bit. He has to see the recognizable moment, the recognizable moment, the time to stab. That would be the exaggeration of it, right? I'm going to kick your teeth in, and he's just going to stick me. So I'm going to kick your teeth in. And there it was, see? Just enough of it. Just enough of him to recognize, to attack me, but when I want him to. The training, that's really important, because what it does is it means I'm training myself to be aware to control the cycle. That's the difference. The average student, when he first learned, he works through the cycle considerations. But that intermediate to advanced students, you got to start thinking about how you're going to control the cycle, not just be relating to the cycle. You got to be controlling the cycle. You understand? All right. So your turn, Tom. Over there, Tom. Your turn, Kevin. one of the good things about training like this in the classroom, the fact is that your training partner knows that's what you're trying to do, and you can still get him to do it. Right? If you can still get him to do it when you want him to, you're going to be that much better off out in the street, right? Because that guy doesn't know you're trying to do that, right? That's why, again, the wrong attitude to be like this, because it's slow to move, but it also says, I'm ready to fight. That puts them on guard more, doesn't it? So when I'm shallow here, it doesn't look like there's any fighting stance. And so when he stabs, and even if I have my hands here, see, I'm moving this way now, this way here, if I have to, right? Make sense? So I got to stay more natural. And there he came for it right then. Okay, let's try it again. In this case, natural is more neutral because I'm taking care of my concerns by having the proper depth, height, and width of my foundation to my opponent. And your turn, Tom. Nope. You step forward to the first move. You can't step forward. You're walking forward, but boy, that's it. As soon as you put that foot there, wherever you're doing, you got to go to shorten the circle. You can't just keep walking in. There you go. Nice job. Well done. Well done. Your turn, Kevin. Well, let's ramp it up a little bit now. All right, so we're going to go to a 4. No, stop. I got it. We're going to do a silly 4. We're going to go silly 4. Silly 4. So, because what happens is when you're as a student and stuff, you're so disciplined that you know exactly your depth, height, and width here, and the points of reference, and all that kind of stuff like that, right? And so, it necessarily a recognizable moment. You recognize the moment on his part, but you forget about there's this recognizable moment on your part too of how you're positioned. So over here more. So the silly 4 is you got to move. Just got to move. All right, and then when he stabs, and you got to go when you can. The idea is that my arms and legs and stuff are going to be caught in different positions. That's the challenge this time, right? That's what makes it more of an expressionometer this time, is that I'm just, and then he stabs or whatever it is, right? I just have to do something totally different, right? Just totally different. And of course, if I've done 1,000 totally different ones, then he can never show me 1,001. I'm never going to be in 1,001, am I? If I've done 1,000, because I got the larger principle. Good. There you go. That's it. Keep going all the way through. Your turn, Tom. Aren't you the challenge-oriented one?
Sir.
Oh, man, you're a soccer player, football player, right? Yeah, goodness. Should we put Tom on the spot? Kevin says, yeah, he's challenge-oriented, right? Well, I'm the baseball player, right? You're the soccer player, right? Uh-huh. So what I want you to do is walk up here and kick the soccer ball, right? And after you get done kicking the soccer ball, though, well, just do it that way and see what happens. Well, he's going to kick that soccer ball. That'll put him in a totally different position. There you go. Oh, you did pretty good. Mr. Parker always said it just like that, Tom. It's not how good you look during the fight. It's how good you look after the fight that counts. All right? You okay?
Yes.
All right. All right. So, you ever play baseball?
Sure.
Sure. So he did it that way. You get it. And Chris, poor Kevin, he's skill oriented. So what I want you to do is back up a little bit, Tom. Here, I want you to walk up here and slide into second base, and then he stabs, of course, right? I'm getting out of there. Slide into second base and stab. There you go. Not bad, guys. Not bad. Right? So you can see where you want to be able to go with this, right? You want to just keep picking up the challenges and stuff like that. So the challenges aren't necessarily by having your partner go faster. The challenges are the other first 4 things on speed, right? Spiritual, perception, emotional, and mental, and physical speed, right? And how you can play with those, because Kevin's got the knife. You're over here, Kevin. So I may go to the emotional level, so to speak, right? In other words, I'm going to do this on purpose. I recognize the moment that I recognize the story that he has the blade. So I want to create an emotional thing which occurs before perceptual and comes after perceptual, before mental and physical. Then I'm crying and something so that he'll take the moment. He'll take the bait, right? It looks like I'm unaware. That kind of stuff like that. Go hysterical. Whatever they did, don't stab me. That kind of thing, you know what I mean? And he stabbed me, got me that time. Makes sense? So you have to kind of play with it. You have to play with all the different physical stories and stuff like that. And we just do that every once in a while, slip it in there because I'm challenge oriented. Somewhere along the line, the skill person says, hey, let's wait a little bit longer before you start throwing all that stuff in there, right? And give me a few more skills. Okay. Good job. Good job. All right. So we'll stop right there. Who's got something they want to share? Tom's got something.
We've been working on these skills for a few episodes now, and definitely getting a much more easy feeling, even with the soccer kick, for example.
Yeah, you did pretty good with that, right?
Yeah. The basic formula for defending against a blade is divert first, and at first that seems very daunting, but as we continue to work our way through this, it starts to become second nature. Becomes the easy part.
So I'll back off on Kevin. I won't use the word second nature. That has too many loaded implications as to what it might really be instead. But what it is you're getting an easier feeling inside of you about the things that are in you and on you and around you. That's what's really happening in this. You're starting to have a better feeling about environment versus the uneasy feeling, which is what you started with, right? And stuff like that, right? And so great job. Excellent job, you guys. And so we'll stop there. So there's part 3 of Blade Course 4, Defending Against the Blade. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you.